Alrighty, we are live. I've got a few guests on here today, so I'm going to bring them on here in just a moment. But first, let's see. All right. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to bring on our guest right now.
Hello, everybody.
All right. The
I think
gang is
everyone
all
knows who I
here.
am right now, so just I'll shush. But welcome, everyone else.
All right, welcome to the stream, guys. It is great to have everybody here. I might have one more coming at some point. I don't know for sure. We'll find out, I guess, later on. But we got a list of topics to go through today. Um, but first, I think that me and Psycho should introduce ourselves. Since this is our channel, we need to probably introduce who we are. I'm Shade, and I'm a longtime Star Wars fan. I've my cousin Psycho over here is the one that got me into it, of course. But we can tell our stories later. I'll let him go ahead and introduce himself.
Okay, so I'm gonna I'm gonna try and tinker with my avatar in a second. But my name is Psycho. I'm a lifelong Star Wars fan. I've devoted basically my life to it at this point. I've devoted my skin to it. So what more can you really say when you ink something in your skin with needles? Let's just say that I think that I'm branded for life. Uh, so that is me. That is who I am. And on this channel, we're going to be talking about a variety of topics, ranging from fan theories to who knows what all we're going to get into. But
yeah.
I'm going to throw things back to Shade for now because I'm going to figure out how to fix my avatar and make myself look rad like everybody else.
Yeah, you can just turn your camera off and fix yourself, and then come back on.
Sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
Check that out. Now I'm just a blank dude.
Awesome.
well,
And let's see.
okay.
Uh,
Well, Shade,
oh,
let's
go
get
ahead.
this
Sorry.
party started.
Alrighty then. So I am proud to be on here with two of my friends, Bounty Hunter Network and Commander Tano. It's great to have you guys here.
Yep,
It's great to be here.
it is.
It's
It is. Because
it
we
is
actually,
wonderful to finally be able to talk to both of you guys with a voice instead of words. So, or text, that is.
well, yeah, me and Commander Tano have talked already. I did that one-on-one interview type thing with her and
Yeah,
Curzon. So
man, I hated missing out on that. I really wish I could have, but Sunday was a terrible day for me.
yeah,
But
listen. I'm doing another one with maybe Curzon and Tano, so you can come on.
all right, hopefully nothing comes up like it did Sunday, so I'll hopefully be able to get on there. So,
Yeah.
since I've never actually gotten a chance to like fully talk to you guys, how about you guys introduce yourselves on here since this is your first time debuting on my channel? We'll start with let's see, Kamaritana. I'll start with you.
Oh my, what do I say? How do I introduce myself? I am I'm just kind of a bored person seeking an outlet to rant about Star Wars topics and other topics of just life, entertainment, culture,
Nice.
how I think the world should be going, which it isn't.
Well, we'll have plenty of chances for that during this stream. I don't know how long you guys want to stay on here. I'm thinking probably close to an hour or two. So we'll have plenty of time. And now on to you, Bounty Hunter Network. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, the name says it all. But I am here. I'm ready to talk Star Wars. Been a Star Wars fan my whole life. My whole life. I mean, everyone can tell you that. That's not even a. Even Tano, I think, can tell you that now. Tano saw that Falcon. So, um, I think we just need to get right into it. But yes, hello everyone. I think people, I think people know who I am. I've been very vocal.
All right. Well, it is great having you guys here, and if that other person does show up, I will make them introduce themselves as well, so you know who we are. But I'll give you guys a little rundown of who me and Psycho actually are. We are two of the faces of the Force Collective. The one you've been interacting with this whole time has been me, like on Twitter and all that stuff. But me and Psycho and one other person work on the Force Collective, or we plan I'm going to roll our intro, and then we will get right onto the topics. So let's see. Here we go. That was pretty cool.
I would just like to say I'm so hype right now.
Yes, look, I picked that intro specifically for this because like on the all the old Star Wars movies, it was that 20th Century Fox thing that was going on at the beginning, and I just felt like it was so Star Warsy to get that on there. So I went and made sure I got something that felt like Star Wars. I mean, that's what this channel is about.
Kiwi just texted me. She was very entertained by that.
Awesome. Yes.
Just like to say that right quick. And also, to anyone who is curious about what my avatar is, to all my London, Kentucky folk out there, if you went to public school, then you definitely remember the Wolf Brothers, because they came and told us not to do drugs. And yo, that's who that is. They're the Wolf Brothers, and they're here to tell us not to do drugs, and that's really what I'm here to do as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I think we all should like stay away from drugs. All right, Harkin, how are you doing, buddy? Nice to see you on here. Glad that you were able to make it. Alrighty, so, well, I don't know where Bounty Hunter Network went, but you know what? He'll probably be back on in just a minute, I'd say. So, how about we go ahead and get on with our first topic, which is actually a question to everybody on here. I'll go last because I want to hear what everybody else has to say. And you know what, Harkin? You can answer this question too since you're in the chat down there. I would like to see what you have to say about it. So, the first topic is, what does Star Wars mean to me? That's the question I want to ask you guys. So I will go ahead and, since Psycho's right next to me on here, Psycho, you go ahead and answer that question for me. What does it mean to you?
So I would just like to say I think that's a really great way to start out this stream, and to really start out the first stream as well. And the thing is that since I've been into Star Wars for so long, I don't really remember what life was like before my like fandom of it. So it's really hard to say. It's really hard to judge my meter of that. But you know, I feel like Star Wars was kind of vital for my coming of age and self-discovery, and my branching out of imagination and learning so many important life lessons, which we're going to be getting into that a little bit later on as well. I feel like for me, even as I get older, it is a source of wisdom that I could come back to, almost like, as a Christian, like I read the Bible, sometimes I can revisit like a quote from like Empire. It's like this is a source of wisdom, and I think that's really cool when something that is a piece of art can transcend into a way that changes your life and the way that you look at the world. I mean, really, what more could you really set out to do? And I really do think that George Lucas is an artist and a great world builder, and probably I'm just saying, man's Tolkien tier. Even if he writes some weird and questionable dialogue at times, I will say that is a justifiable thing to say. His capability of world building is just out of this world, pun intended. Um,
I I
and
I completely agree.
I mean, people want to. I mean, people give George crap. I mean, probably less now than 7 or 8 years ago, maybe. Um, but I mean, my favorite era of Star Wars is prequels. Honestly, like just
Yeah,
what the prequels has given birth to is honestly so broad, and and being when it's a big nostalgia thing for me as well, because when I was growing up with those movies as well, more so than I feel like the OT for me um was something that I grew to appreciate more and more as I grew older, if that makes sense.
yeah, it does. I understand what
But
you're saying.
I don't even know how we got off onto this topic, but that's how this is gonna go. We're gonna start, and we're just gonna rant about Star Wars, and that's the whole point of this channel. But who's next?
Well, since Commander Tano is the only other person here at the moment, she will be the next one to tell us what Star Wars means to her. Well, let's see. Well, you know what? I'll go ahead while I guess they're busy. So for me, oh, there's your face.
She
I see your
said
face.
she said her audio isn't working.
Her audio isn't working. Oh,
Yeah.
that's not good. That is not good. Let's see. Hmm. Let's see. Hold on. Maybe I can fix this. I love that answer, Harkin. I hope I'm saying your name right. I do love that answer. That's actually a really good answer. Let's see. I wonder. Did did that not fix it? Dang it.
I can hear your voice echoing from my living room, and I love it.
Do I sound weird on here? I don't like listening
No,
to
man, you
myself
sound
on the no.
sexy.
Awesome.
Isn't
Okay,
that
good.
what
I'm
the
glad I'm
Force?
saying your name right, buddy.
Isn't that what the Force Collective is really all about? Is sex appeal?
I mean,
That's like one of the three
you can
P's
you
or the
can
five
you can
P's.
be that. You can be that. You can be that.
I can be the
Oh,
sex
there you go.
appeal.
Yeah, you can be that, Psycho. You can be that. All right. So, Commander Tondo, glad you're back. So what does Star Wars mean to you?
Oh, what does it mean to me? Where to begin? I've said this before. This is my fallback answer always to
Mm-hmm.
that question. I think Star Wars is apolitically political, and what I mean by that is you often see online just people have debates about Star Wars. You have say someone saying like, no, I don't want my politics in my Star Wars, and you have someone reply, well, but Star Wars is political. That George Lucas intended Star Wars to be political, and so you're wrong. I would say that they're both right in a sense, in that
Mm-hmm.
yes, Star Wars is political, but what Star Wars isn't is it isn't partisan. It's it doesn't tie morality to a particular partisan group. It's something that individuals have to arrive at themselves without the help of a group. You don't um, being being a member of whether you're part of the Republic or the Separatists or the Rebellion or even the Empire, have that doesn't ultimately determine whether one is a moral individual in that universe. You can Now, you can find that maybe you happen to find more immoral individuals in the Empire, but even then, Star Wars isn't that quite that black and white. So I think that's a big part of what it means to me, and the kind of morality that the best Star Wars presents.
That's a really good answer. I'm glad you cleared that up because at first I didn't understand that, and now that you cleared up like that, I do, and I completely agree. Um, the politics that's in Star Wars is different than today's politics, and you know what? It's okay for it to be political, but if they're trying to shove today's politics into, I mean, look, what I think about it is that if you're going to put politics in the movie, don't put real world politics in there because these movies are supposed to be like an escape from reality, not just an add-on to our reality or just amplifying these issues that we have, and that's just one thing that bugs me about today's media. That's really what bugs me about it. I really like that answer. All right, let's see. I got something going on here. All right, so well, I don't know if Bounty Hunter Network is coming back.
I had some problems with my audio earlier, so I don't know. Maybe it's something about the link. I don't know, or maybe he needs to change devices. Who knows?
Well, he did say he might have to dip out for a bit, so maybe that's the issue. All right, so I guess since it's just us three for the moment, we'll go ahead and talk about what lessons that Star Wars teaches us and all that stuff. Uh, let's see. Yeah, you're right. It wouldn't be a first stream without technical issues. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? All right. So, oh wait, no, I didn't even answer the question yet. What does Star Wars mean to me?
It clearly means
What,
nothing to you.
clearly, that's why I didn't answer. Um, no, okay, so I feel like this is a very vital question for anybody that's going to do Star Wars YouTube or just be affiliated with Star Wars in any way. So it a lot of people say that it represents like hope to them, an escape from reality, like I said earlier, stuff like that. And you know what? That's what it is. It represents hope to me because you look up to the heroes that's in these movies, and you think, you know what? I feel like I could be something like that. It's just it inspires you to want to be something more than you are. I mean, just look at Luke and Anakin. Anakin was a slave. Luke was just a farmer. But they both, I mean, despite Anakin turning to the dark side, they both became great Jedi, which is something that you probably wouldn't expect from somebody like them. So, I mean, that's why it represents hope. And as far as the escape from reality, anytime that I would have a hard time with something, or just emotionally not feel that great, I would always, watch Star Wars. I love Star Wars like to death. So, it I would just sit there and watch it or play any Star Wars game like Lego Star Wars, which was actually what got me into Star Wars. Psycho can attest to this because he's the one that got me into Star Wars. The
Can
first thing I ever,
attest.
yes, the first thing that we did, like Star Wars wise, together was play Lego Star Wars. Uh, but yeah, it got my mind off of all those things that really got onto my on my nerve, and it just helped calm me down. And it's not even just when I don't just watch Star Wars when I get mad. I watch Star Wars even if I'm happy. I mean, surprisingly, right? So I mean, it just it gets my mind off of today. I mean, especially now with today's climate, the way it is, where everybody's just hating each other and all that stuff, or wanting to eat each other alive. You go and watch Star Wars, and you just forget about all that stuff and get engrossed in the world that you are looking at. So for me, that's what it is. Mostly is an escape from reality, but also hope. That's what it means to me.
Yeah,
So
man, I think that's a great answer. And I was thinking back when you were talking and just reflecting on a lot of those times throughout my childhood when it felt like those little things were kind of all we had to lean on. So it really does mean a lot to all of us here that are in
Mm-hmm.
this stream. And I just can't wait to get into talking about Star Wars with you guys.
I'm wanting this to be a weekly thing. I don't know if I can get all you guys here on a weekly basis. I would hate to like impose on you guys for any possible reason.
No,
I
man,
know
I
that
can
me and
be here. I can be here on a weekly basis if you want to do it.
I'd love to do this as often as possible. So yeah, keep me in the loop.
Okay,
Let's
awesome. I
go.
am so glad that you agree because I mean, when I watched that stream with you and Bounty Hunter Network, that right there solidified it for me that I wanted you to be there. I mean, honestly, I probably would have asked you in the first place anyways, but seeing you and Bounty Hunter Network talk on that stream when I did get to watch it, uh, it was really nice to hear all that. So, I
Well,
mean,
thank you
I'm
so much.
yes.
It was a lot of fun to do. It's and I think a lot of these conversations they go so much better when you have someone to bounce ideas off of, and um yes.
Look, me and Psycho, like whenever we meet at all, we always have these conversations that last for hours. So that's sort of the reason why I wanted to do the stream. Look, I had a video like sort of recorded. I was recording my thoughts and all that stuff, and then if you know me well enough, you know that I will not put something out if I'm not happy about it. Though I've never done YouTube exactly, so you can't probably tell from that. But as far as like, let's say art, I like drawing things. I won't hardly like publicize anything I do unless I'm super happy with it. And as far as recording that video that I did about a week ago, I wasn't happy with it. And then when I watched you guys do that live stream, I thought, wait a minute, they're just having a casual discussion, uh, as if no one's listening. That's sort of how I wanted to do it because me and my cousin, like I was saying, always get into these big discussions, and that was sort of the inspiration for why I wanted to do this show called Star Wars Topics. I don't know if I iterated that. This is the name of the show now is going to be Star Wars Topics, and it's going to be a weekly thing. That's what I wanted this to be like, was just a conversation among friends and just our unfiltered thoughts on it, because I just feel like if I record it, it won't feel as genuine. I mean, especially that first question that I mentioned, what Star Wars means to me. I did not want to do a recorded video just on that because I feel like I would just mess it up, first of all, and it wouldn't sound as genuine as if I were coming up with it right off the spot like I just did. And I feel like that was the best way to get it out of us, is to just um, do it on a live stream where it's not going to be edited or anything like that. That's our unfiltered thoughts right at that very moment. And I think that's why I like this so much. It's just our unfiltered thoughts. So, that being said, we can go on to our next topic. I'm done rambling now. The lessons in Star Wars. Like, what lessons did it teach each of us? Since Psycho went first last time, I'll go ahead and let you go first this time, Commander.
Oh, what lessons?
I mean, it don't even have to be like specific lessons you learned, but maybe something you've seen that could teach a lesson to somebody that needs it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm probably cheating a bit, but I think when I first, I guess, met you on Twitter, and I like that post that you have pinned up about the whole Umbara arc in the Clone Wars, and kind of your reflections on parallels you can draw between that and kind of our current political climate. I 100% agree with that, and I think also adding to that, thinking about how on earth do we get ourselves out of that. And I think part of that is learning to distinguish between, you have a few people who are kind of the general Krells of the world, um,
Mm-hmm.
who have a lot of power. But the problem is, in addition to them, you have a lot of dogmas. You have a lot of people who, I I think, swallow the narrative that these Krells of the world want to impose. And they're swallowing the narrative and propagating it. They're not doing it maliciously. You know what I mean? It's like they
Mm-hmm.
genuinely believe that they're doing the right thing in attacking, their brothers. And it's kind of, I'm just kind of thinking about, I don't know if it's a lesson learned, but it's kind of just a reflection, a thought about how do you deal with those two categories of people, because you have to use different approaches with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something that I've been kind of thinking about a lot lately, the past few weeks.
Well, I'm glad I can inspire that thought with my little tweet. Honestly, that's my favorite thing I've tweeted out. And, that just came right off the top of my head because I had been like binge watching the Clone Wars at that time, and I just watched that arc, and it got me thinking a lot at that point. And there's another arc I want to talk about at some point, maybe not during this stream, but maybe the next stream that we do or something like that. There's another arc. I think, what is it called? It's the one with Saw Gerrera. I forgot what the name of that arc is. It's the 4 episodes.
Yeah,
Warranty for
yeah.
you know which one I'm talking about. Man, some Star Wars fan I am to not remember the names of those, and I just watched them a little while back. But that's another arc I want to talk about at some point because that one I felt like some sort of connections with as well. It's similar to that Umbara arc, but off that topic, uh, yeah, that honestly, I was really annoyed with how things were going. And you know what? Like lately, it's all the bad news that I've been hearing when it comes to Star Wars. It just sort of feels hopeless to even try to change Disney's mind on some of the things that they do. It sometimes feels hopeless. And you know what? That's probably how they win, is by making the one side they don't want to win feel like there's no hope at all. And that's why I posted, like, I think there was like a reply on one of your tweets that I did. It's like, uh, well, somebody said that it's cute that you think that, and it was that one post about like the 6 things to change or something like that Disney can do to change. That one, I just read that because I think you retweeted it, or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so I'm thinking the right thing. There was one reply that said it's cute that you think that they can change it or something like that. And I said, well, you never know. Whether they do or not, we still have hope. So, and every time I say something like that, I always think of Rogue One, where
Yeah,
he says rebellions are built on hope.
I was thinking of the same thing as soon as you said that.
Look, that movie too. I mean, look, I'm not like the biggest fan of Disney Star Wars, but Rogue One is by far my favorite Star Wars movie they've done. And that scene right there does stick with me. I do love that scene. Uh, but on to you, Psycho. Go ahead and tell me what you think about the lessons that you can learn in Star Wars.
There's literally such an endless, like when you think of, like, I mean, there's so many different tales of corruption and greed and all these different concepts, that are explored throughout Star Wars. I think one thing that I like to think about is, people are so, like, gullible, and like when it comes to, like, I feel like people just blindly follow whatever politician is kind of their flavor of the week for their like their political party or whatever be it. And I just think back to about how Palpatine had corrupted, or he had basically, he had um manipulated everyone into thinking that he was someone that he wasn't at all. And I think that's a really important thing, is to always question authority. I think that's a very healthy thing to do. And so that's one thing that can be learned. Another thing I think is more of just a very broad concept. across that's just kind of explored throughout the entirety of the Clone Wars is that brotherhood and camaraderie with other people and with it's very important. It's very important to have those relationships with people. Um, so because I mean, just think of the brotherhood that they had. I mean, it I don't know. It's very admirable, and it really. I feel like the clones, in this time period of the lore, were basically kind of maybe dismissed by society as just being a number. Um, I mean that's kind of the feeling that I get, but it really it explores the depth and how nuanced they really are. That although they're clones, they are definitely all different, and they're definitely all unique in some way, even if they all share the same face and the same voice. Um, so I think that is a very important lesson that can be learned from the Clone Wars is to never judge someone by what they look like. Because although they all look the exact same, they have very different skill sets and personalities and even values to a degree. Like, even though there's certain values that are instilled in a clone, um, certain things they don't agree on necessarily either. So I think that's really cool. There's definitely a lot of depth to the clones that I think a lot of people just don't even really think about. Um, Especially like they have like half a lifespan, and that's pretty dark to think about. Like living maybe 40 years at best if you're not killed in battle. That's pretty gloomy.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think there's a rags to riches story in Star Wars. Like you mentioned earlier, Anakin was a slave, Luke was a farm boy, and they both managed to. I mean, Luke freed the galaxy from the most like evil tyranny that it had faced in a very long time. And I mean, and Anakin, despite being kind of genocidal at times, not gonna say he wasn't. He did kill the kids. Rest in peace. But although that is true, I mean, he also was the chosen one. He was a great warrior. He was a great pilot. Wouldn't say he was a great husband. There was that whole choking thing. So we will overlook that for the time being, and just say that he had a really sick haircut in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, I do agree.
Yeah, but let's not get into Hayden's haircut. We'll not talk about that. That's not a lesson. Maybe
That's
he
not a
brought
lesson.
the
It's
mullet
just
back.
one of his
Maybe
standout
that's where this all
features.
came from.
It's one of his standout features. Look, I don't like his hair in the second movie, but the third movie, his hair is just amazing.
You
Man,
think Morgan Wallen was like watching Revenge of the Sith and he was like, "Yes, that haircut. I need it."
yes, I that's what I think.
So I think
I love
there's
it.
a lot of really valuable topics. I mean, it's
Oh yeah.
really when you really think about, I don't know. There's like so many different things that I want to talk about, but there's like I can't even narrow it down. Like, I don't know. We might have
One,
to revisit this question, honestly.
I was going to mention when you were talking earlier about corruption in different films. Actually, if we're talking about lessons, one thing that kind of brought up to mind is Star Wars has a lot of lessons it can teach regarding epistemology, how we
Mm-hmm.
come to know what we know. It's interesting how often, especially if we're talking about the prequel era, there are moments where it's like if what you don't have, and I think this is this is a problem we have as a society, is a lot of we often, because we prefer simple answers, we seek out people or institutions who can provide kind of the answer keys to truth. It's like we pick and choose. Okay, this is a trusted establishment, this is a trusted person, and these people are not trustworthy, these are crazy, or they're conspiracy theorists. And we put people and organizations into categories like that. Whereas what I like about Star Wars is people who are telling the truth. They're often, it's, yes, you have good people who are telling the truth, but you also have some morally questionable people who, if they had been listened to, that whole galaxy might have been spared a whole lot of angst. Like, I think about at the end of Attack of the Clones, when you have Yoda, Mace Windu, and Obi-Wan talking about what Dooku said about the Sith controlling the Senate. And I forget who, if it was Obi-Wan or, it was asking like, he's basically asking, kind of like, should we, follow up on this? And Yoda, and this is probably like a moment where Yoda isn't infallible, and he just says, well, clouded by the dark side, Dooku is, and leaves it at that. But it's like, it'd be so interesting to think hypothetically, like if they had thought like, oh, maybe we should listen to that, maybe we should look into this.
They were so dismissive. You're so right.
Yes, and what I really appreciated, and I knew obviously because plot constraints that nothing could have come of this ultimately, but I did like in the Clone Wars finale when Ahsoka's talking to Maul, and when he's asking her to go help him take down Darth Sidious, he reaches out his hand, and initially I thought, oh, they're going to pull kind of a Last Jedi, and she's going to say no, she's going to not want to work with him. But she says no. She says, I will help you. Like, she's willing to work with him and consider what he's said. It's only once he says, oh, and part of the plan is killing Anakin, that it's only when it gets to that point that then kind of her personal feelings get in the way of that, and she doesn't follow through and work with him. But I think that it's really interesting when you have so many situations, or you could talk about like the whole Order 66-5's arc, where you're dealing with people who either are dangerous or people who you might consider dangerous. But those people may happen to they may not be right about everything, but you've got to be aware of the occasions when they are, and what you could be losing if you don't listen to them in that moment.
Yeah.
That is so right.
Definitely. And I would just like to sort of expand on that and just say something I was sort of thinking about when you were talking. And it's just that I feel like in the original trilogy, something that I really love is that the way that the whole the way that we're sort of brought into this and explained everything is a very black and white kind of way of looking at the galaxy at this point. I mean, there's bad guys, there's good guys. There's good guy has blue lightsaber, bad guy has red lightsaber. It's very, I love that it's very simple. And then as time goes on, it becomes like the world becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And it just becomes like not so much black and white, but more so shades of gray. Just like how you were talking about morally questionable people that maybe perhaps should have been listened to. Just like I mean, just like that. I'm sorry, I'm like blanking for some reason, but just like that example that you used regarding like Ahsoka was completely willing to work with Maul on that. Hey, he's back.
He is.
I'm back. Oh.
We are talking. What question are we even going over at this point?
What have we talked about so far? Just do a little short summary, like what topics and what have we done, and I can get my answers real quick, and then we can move on to what we were talking about.
Well, we just went over what Star Wars means to us. So, if you want to, after Psycho finishes his little analysis that he was going over, we will let you go ahead and tell us what Star Wars means to you. So, but I'm going
Is
to hand
this
it
the
back over to
first?
Psycho here for a
Sorry,
second.
sorry.
No, you're
Is this
good.
the first topic?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, then. All right. Sorry, Psycho. I'll let you go.
No, you're good, bro. So I was just saying, yeah, Ahsoka, being willing to work with Maul, at the end. I also kind of had the same expectations. I was like, there's no way, and even like her being, willing to work with Ventress a little bit, um, during that one arc, which I can't remember the name
That
of.
was the Wrong Jedi episode. I think
Yeah, yeah,
that's the
yeah,
one.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
Um,
that's what I thought.
but yeah, I mean, definitely what Dooku said. Had they been like, yeah, that maybe there's some validity to that, and often I wonder why he chose to give that information up at all. It seems kind of weird. Like, well,
Well,
what do you guys think? Why did he
well, if
choose to tell to release that information to Obi-Wan?
well, I don't know why Obi-Wan specifically. Maybe because he probably believed that nobody would believe him. Uh, because I mean that look if the as it seems that at this time the Jedi are a little overconfident, just as Yoda says. Even the wiser, more experienced ones are arrogant. So the Jedi Council, being the great Jedi they are still a little arrogant, thinking that if the Sith were around, they would know about it, even if things have been clouded. At least that's what I'm getting out of it. So the fact that he gave that up to Obi-Wan, and then Obi-Wan relays it to them, he probably foreseen it somehow, that that nobody would believe it. And that also begs the question, though, because we were talking about the Fives arc, and this is related. uh at one point, the Chancellor himself reveals, I guess, the plan. I mean, we don't see it exactly happen. It's implied that he reveals the entire plan to Fives. So it's the same situation, just different people. So what I'm thinking is that Dooku and Palpatine are just very confident that the Jedi won't get any, won't believe anything, especially from a clone that is seemingly going crazy. So of course they're going to do that. But Fives, I don't think ever got to like truly explain. He was drugged, so of course he wasn't thinking straight. But he was trying to explain to Rex. But right as he was about to explain everything, I think it was Commander Fox and his team of Coruscant guards, come in, and he, being crazy at the moment, picks up a weapon and then gets shot. Which debatably, or not debatably, well, I think they should have just stunned him. I don't know why they shot him and killed him, but I guess for story convenience, where he had to be killed, so that would not be revealed to anybody. But the point still stands. Why did they do that? And it's probably because they were very confident that no one would believe them. That's what I think.
He was just wearing the opposite of plot armor.
He
That's
was
what got him
literally
killed.
giving the answers away, and nobody believed that he was giving the answers away. So they chose the different answer.
It's just funny. It feels like that's happened a couple times in Star Wars.
It's like a teacher giving you the answers to a test in class, and the kids are like, "Why is the teacher doing this?" They're probably trying to throw us off, so they pick the other answer instead, and they get it wrong.
That's
That's
so true, though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. Well, I mean, well, it's like you're right. It's like the teacher that's trying to explain something, and then everyone else is like "f off." like,
well. As
No, well, sorry. I meant. Teach. People get mad and like, no, I don't want to do that. No, I don't.
yeah, I get it. I get it. Before I give my answer, uh, I like Harkin's answer. The smallest thing can take down the largest target. I know you're talking about the Death Star. At least that's what I believe, and that's true. That is true. I completely agree with that. It does. Size matters not. Judge me by my size, do you? Judge me by my size, do you? Terrible Yoda impression, but hey. Um, I'll go ahead and let Bounty Hunter Network tell us what Star Wars means to him because
Oh,
he
okay.
didn't get to answer that. So go ahead, tell us what does Star Wars mean to you, buddy?
Okay, well, I'm gonna keep my camera off because it's a little. I'm a little. But whatever. Star Wars. Kitano can speak up for this too. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I think even Force Collective can know that. I think even
Mm-hmm.
he's been too shade. So, but no, man. You want me to tell you how long I've been with Star Wars? Really?
Go ahead.
Since I was 6 years old. No, not six. Since I was in the womb, basically, because I was my mom loves Star Wars so much, and
Born Star Wars fan.
we got and I've grown up with it my entire life, so it's not like it's a thing that I truly care for and respect. And when you see it getting destroyed, it's not that easy. I'm gonna show something. Like, people are like, you racist, you sexist, you hate the sequels. Why did I buy a sequel set? Why did I buy this? Why did I buy that Poe X-wing then? I'm just saying, because I like it. But
well,
it's
we'll. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, it's fine. It's just that you can get a lot of that happening now, and it's I don't think it's really good for the community. I think what Commander Tano said on my stream, she says, we all have a little more in common than we think we do. We just don't show it to each other, it seems like. And I completely agree with that, because it's like both movements hate the same things about The Last Jedi and like the same things, mainly.
That's
It's
good. That's good.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Oh, go
like
ahead.
yeah. Sorry. If anyone wants to interrupt or interject, that's fine. Just talk. I don't mind. I'm just here to have some fun. But it's like I have a great friend in the Star Wars Lego community. I don't know if you've seen him or seen my streams. Maybe you have, Tano. I know you've been in a few of mine before. But the Lego Brits, the British Lego guy that I talk to a lot, he is a huge fan of Star Wars. We love it both. And I'm gonna be on his. He's gonna be on my stream. I hope he can make it, and then I'm gonna be in the chat on his Easter stream. I'm helping him get a few YouTubers, Lego YouTubers, on for Lego Star Wars, hopefully. So it's like I think we all share the passion of Star Wars together. It's just I think that sometimes we can have disagreements, and those disagreements can lead to hate or vitriol against each other. And it's like, I don't want to do that. I'm here to love Star Wars. I mean, and people just. I think the thing I really think people need to do with Star Wars right now, and I'll tell you it. If you want to buy it, if you want Disney Plus, if you want to buy the merchandise, if you want to go out and support it, do it. Because that's your hobby, that's your passion, what you like, and no one can take that from you. Like, Disney's losing money anyway. Disney Plus isn't financially viable, and also they've lost a ton of support because of Gina Carano, so they're not even making that much anyway. So
Well,
right now,
on that though, there's one little thing I want to add. I've heard this recently. I don't know 100% how true it is, but apparently they're raising the price of Disney Plus. I think by a dollar
Hmm.
or two, and
Yeah,
if you don't get it before a certain time, I'm trying to remember. I think it's the 26th. Uh, you like if you get it before the 26th, you will be locked in with that 6.99 price.
yes,
So
yes, yeah, yeah.
that's a little tidbit of information right there if you guys didn't know. But as far as the current state of Star Wars though, I want to like save that for like another stream since that's not one of the current topics. uh
Oh, yeah, that's fine. I was just trying to explain why I
no,
love Star
I wasn't
Wars.
trying to shut you down. I wasn't trying to shut you down. You go ahead and do that. I'm just saying that that might be a future topic. Go ahead and finish up what you're saying.
Oh yeah, no, I was just saying that because of I love Star Wars. I love The Mandalorian, and I love Luke's return. I thought it was great. I think we all did. I mean, we know some people that even got a little emotional. Uh, it's like we,
Funny Harkin.
but
Oh, go
but
ahead. Sorry.
it's fine. Don't worry about it. But it's one of the greatest franchises ever made because what people don't understand I guess some of these people don't understand is Star Wars was already diverse and it was already very very real and lived in originally. Like you didn't need to change it, but I don't know why they did.
I don't
That's
know
all.
if you
But
guys seen that interview with George Lucas, but he said that the only discrimination going on in the Star Wars universe was against droids. It was already a diverse world. And, he was talking mainly about how there was like a bunch of aliens. He wasn't exactly talking about skin color, but of course there was a
yeah,
lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
diversity in Star Wars beforehand, anyways. It's not like it never happened in the first place, like some people try to make it out to be. But,
Yeah,
uh,
I mean, the biggest diversity for Black people, if you want to say it, I mean, was Lando Calrissian, and then people seem to like forget about that and be like, "Oh, John Boyega." So, but that's all I was saying. But it's
yeah,
just like, but I mean, we can, we can agree to disagree on a lot of things, but what brings us together is Star Wars, and that's what we're here to talk about. So I'll let you talk about it, but yeah, it means Star Wars means a lot to me. Uh, you know, I think everyone it means a lot when they watch it because I don't know, it gives people a sense of hope. Like they can
hmm
do this stuff too. They can be the hero in their own story. And that's what Star Wars was about. Like, I mean, Luke was a farm boy, Han was a smuggler, and Leia was just some random princess on Alderaan, and they all became the heroes of the whole galaxy. So, you
yeah,
know,
yeah, I agree.
it was just very hopeful. They were just very hopeful movies. So yeah, I get that's why everyone likes them because they were just really good.
I completely agree with that. And to add on to something that both you and Commander Tano said earlier, Psycho, you guys, well, Psycho, you were talking about Yoda, not just Yoda, the clones. That's what I meant to say. You were talking about the clones and how the Clone Wars or just Star Wars in general teaches us that you may share the same face, but you're different. Or
Hmm.
there's okay, so that got me thinking about that scene, and you were probably thinking of this scene at the same time of the first episode of the Clone Wars where Yoda sits down with the clones and tells them to take off their helmets. So
Yeah.
I went
I
and looked
was
that
thinking
up
of that
because I
scene.
wanted to quote it, and he says hold on, I gotta play it again because I can't remember the quote word for word, and I'd like to remember it word for word.
I remember it. He what Yoda was saying is like take off your
Yeah.
helmets because I want to see the people you truly are. I want to see who you are, not the clones. I want to see you. I want to see you. I forget who was there, but wasn't it five? No, not fives.
It
No, no,
was
wait.
Thayer, and I can't remember the other two's names. Thayer, Lieutenant Thayer, and the other two. I can't remember.
Battle or something. Yeah, the big machine gun guy,
Yeah,
minigun dude. Yeah, but he was saying like, I want to see you because that's what is important to me. Because uh because we are all surrounded by the Force, clone or not a clone, Jedi, Sith, clones are all surrounded by the Force. It doesn't matter how we were born or how we were made. It matters that we're here for each other or something like that.
Yeah, he said, like in the Force, very different you are, and that actually you sort of stole that from me, Psycho. That's one of the things I was going to talk about. How dare you?
I'm a
Um,
thief of thought.
see, I was going to go with individuality because the Clone Wars is full of that. Um,
Yeah.
and you know what? I'm basically just going to expand on what you said, and I might even repeat some of the things you said because I can't remember everything that you said. So I'm going to try to make my response unique compared to yours. Uh,
It's all right. If you need to
I mean,
repeat some points, it's okay. Just just we're here to talk Star Wars and have fun. It's not like we're having up here having a debate or something. It's like
that's true. That's true. But individuality, that is one thing. Like, even if you look the same as someone else, you're still different. And that's a big thing in my life is being different than other people. I don't want to be the same person as, let's say, my dad or my mom. I want to be my own person. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be just like this person or that person. And you know what? As a kid, I used to be that way. I would always want to be like this person or that person. But then you realize that if you're just like that person, then what are you? You got to think about that. What are you? And
yeah,
that's one thing that I think about. And I don't want to be the same person as someone else. I like being me. So that's just one of the few lessons, or not few. There's a lot of lessons in Star Wars. That's one of the lessons in Star Wars that really stuck out to me. That and of course, like never giving up, all that kind of stuff. I can go on and on about those for sure, but that one about individuality is the one that hit me the most.
yeah. Oh, hey.
Nice, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a smaller one. I'm going to get the bigger one, but this is the smaller one they came out with. But
Yeah.
look at that. It's amazing. But it's like you know, it's like I think all of us love Star Wars enough to be like, we can buy an X-wing here or there. It doesn't matter if it's based on whatever. I just
All
like
right.
that.
So
And go ahead, man. I didn't mean to
oh
interrupt
no,
you.
no, you're good. Um, so now this brings us to our next topic. Oh well, no, I didn't let you talk about what lessons you might have learned from Star Wars. So go ahead,
Mm.
Bounty Hunter Network. Tell me what lessons you might have learned from Star Wars.
Oh, okay. Well, um, I don't know. No, I'm joking, but I think a sense of, I guess, honor, respect, truthfulness, I guess individuality, how to treat people just normal. Because everyone in those movies, when you really think about it, besides Luke, Han, and Leia, there's tons of characters in there. There's Lando, Darth Vader, the Emperor, Grand Moff Tarkin. Like, you have all these characters in there. It's not just about. I guess I like Star Wars because it showed more of each side. It showed you why that the Empire wanted to do stuff. It also showed you why the Rebellion did. And if you look at it, they're kind of both the bad guys in a way, because the Empire they've destroyed one Death Star, and then they're coming for the next one on Endor. And to the Republic, they're destroying planets. So the both of them, they're the villains, and I love that. But and even in Mandalorian, people are middle sided. It's either Rebellion or the Empire. So in a way, it's a very 50-50 thing in Star Wars of how the villains and heroes are portrayed. And I think that's how everyone should be. We should have our own perspective. And if we want to fight, we can fight. But remember, at the end, we always come back together. A Return of the Jedi. Right, the villains become good, like Darth Vader did in the end.
Yeah, it's kind of going back to one of the things we were talking about earlier, which was like I was saying. I feel like when we first showed this world in A New Hope, it feels
Mm-hmm.
like that world was very black and white, and it feels like the longer that, like, the further that it was established, the more and more gray that it starts to become. And that's what I really love, because like you said, like, they're both kind of the bad guy in their own ways. And I really love that, because the thing is that we are all kind of the bad guy in some ways, because none
Yeah.
of us are all good or all bad, and that's another lesson that can be learned from Star Wars.
Well, it's not even just that though. I mean, as Palpatine says, good is a point of view. I mean, I could be going around and assaulting people and think that's a good thing. That's a terrible example, but I mean, I try to come up with something at least.
But people
Uh,
do that, bro.
yes, and they think they're look. There's people that will go terrorize other people and think they're doing a good thing. That's their point of view, and just like Obi-Wan says, from a certain point of view, and I love that quote too. But that you know, that's another thing that you got to think about. Some people consider what they're doing, whether it's right or wrong, is good. I could be going and doing something completely wrong and think that I'm completely in the right. And then the other person who might be morally right or morally wrong will think that I'm completely wrong. So, like he said, good is a point of view. That's another thing. It's the prequels really brought out how not black and white good and evil can be. So, I mean, that's another thing. That's one thing I truly admire about the prequels myself, is that for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Here's the thing about the prequels too, but I really liked. It's that, but even then it was 50-50 when you really think about it, and Palpatine was just a man in the middle, because
Yeah.
it was because they both did bad things, the Separatists and the Republic. But you know what I like about Star Wars is who is the real hero. And when we really think about it, it's the Republic, the Jedi. It's because it's supposed to be. Because I mean, the Separatists are over here enslaving people and taking planets, and the Republic's trying to save them all. So it's like, what? Who in Star Wars? It's like, who is the better bad guy in this situation? Who's the better out of these two people, these two groups that can definitely be bad at times, and we know that.
That also brings up one other point that I want to make about the good being a point of view, or not even. It's more of a morality thing, though, this time. Like, I know that we all know, like, I think it's universal that we all believe that the Empire was evil. Okay? That may be our point of view, yes, but in Rogue One, and I didn't realize how much I can take from Rogue One until the stream. But Cassian did some dark things for the rebellion. They're the heroes, but they've done some things that they're
Yes.
probably not proud of. Yes. Do you
Well,
got something to say?
yeah,
I
and
mean, yeah. Sorry, Tony. You can talk.
yeah, no, I was going to say one thing that I really appreciated about The Mandalorian was um, how it um, it illustrated a lot of gray in terms of morality. Because yes, it's like when in The Mandalorian, yes, you go into that show with the framework the Empire's evil, but it is interesting between the conversations, the little bit that he has with the client, illustrating like, hey, don't you kind of look at all this chaos and violence out here in the galaxy? Kind of, don't you kind of miss us when we kind of were around to keep some of that at bay? And also at the same time, what I thought was interesting, and it's very subtle, but there was a moment when I think it was after. I think it was when it was when he'd given up the child and he had gone back to Grief Karga and he's asking what they were going to do with it. And at some point,
Yeah.
he was saying like, well, if this is bothering you, well, you can go tell the New Republic that. And then Mando just mutters under his breath like, that's a joke. And there are other little moments in that series where it's like the Republic, they're pitched as the good guys, but at the same time, you kind of get the feeling from that story that sometimes they stand in the way of good, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, yeah. No, I get what you're saying because we even see this. It's like to me, it's really because it's really not confusing, but it's really hard to be like, who's the villain here? Because in Rogue One 2 shade, I think we kind of forgot about this, but we saw the lives of some Empire members. I mean, some of them were like depressed or sad, and they just wanted to do their job and get back to their families. And when the Death Star blows up, I mean,
True. True. Not all of them seemed evil. I mean, like that group of scientist guys that was with Jyn Erso's dad, Galen Erso.
yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's what. No, I'm talking about like Jyn Erso's dad, or just certain
Yeah.
ones.
Well-
Like Krennic seems like he was a little uneasy with it too. Because if you notice some things, Krennic kind of looks like he's about to like shoot Tarkin sometimes, or try to kill Vader. I mean, he's like, I don't know if we should do this. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
And then Vader's like, don't choke on your aspirations, General, or whatever. Try but
not
it's
to
like
choke on your aspirations, director.
I forgot he was a director.
Yes.
But still, it was like, these people. Some of them had morality. They had families they wanted to get back to, but
Yeah.
they couldn't. So it's really hard to kind of say like who is the good guy, because the Jedi have destroyed the Death Star, but the Death Star's destroyed the Republic, a lot of it. So it's like, what do you do there? It's a very middle line, and it's like, who's the real bad guy in that situation when you really think about it, Vin? It's the Empire, because they destroyed the planet. All the Empire, the rebels did was destroy a space station. I know it had like probably millions of people on it, but still, I mean, they destroyed a satellite. Basically, they didn't destroy an entire planet. I mean, that's the thing I'm getting at.
That's true. I mean, it just depends on whose side you're on. I mean, if you're on the Imperial side and they destroy your big station that helps keep, let's say, other planets from attacking each other, or like from defecting from the Empire and causing chaos amongst their society that they deem to be like the morally correct. I mean, it's all just a question of morality. Who believes they are, who believes that their morals are correct? Like I said, good as a point of view. So, I mean, it all stems from that. And it's, Star Wars is full of that.
Yeah.
But I want we are already pushing an hour here. And we got a couple more topics to go. But
That's
does
fine.
anybody have any closing thoughts on any of this before we move on to topic number 3? Nope. Okay.
I think we're good.
Okay.
I think we're good.
All right. So, I'm going to go ahead and start off with this topic here, because I put out Commander Tano mentioned this earlier. What parallels can be, or what kinds of parallels can be drawn from Star Wars to today's society? When I put out that tweet a while back about the Umbara arc, talking, which she explains it just as good, actually probably better than me. But
I doubt it.
I don't know. You expanded on it pretty good. Honestly, I wish I could have typed it out exactly how you said it. But there
Yeah,
is
sorry,
many.
yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I think what we talked about with the Clone Wars scene with them, like what I think that was a really good thing to talk about because that's kind of what
Hmm.
this question is. It's what it was like. What perspectives or what was it? What perspectives or things do you get from Star Wars? Or
Parallels. Like
parallels.
what I mean by the parallels is like what parts of Star Wars feel like. I mean, even if they're not explicitly trying to make it feel like today's society, what things can you like? What parallels can you draw from certain parts of Star Wars to today's society? That's basically the question that I'm asking. And I put a tweet
Oh,
out
okay.
about it about the
Okay, got
Umbara
you.
arc. Yeah, I put a tweet about the Umbara arc out, talking about how Krell, being the very vocal minority, trying to tear, make us tear each other apart, and just cause chaos. See, the loud minority, whether they believe they're right or not, they they have their own ideas about how things should go, so they're going to try to push that on us, no matter whether it is morally correct or not. And I mean, like I said earlier, morality is just the point of view of the other person. But there is like so many people in this world that are like Krell, who want you to eat your brothers or sisters or whoever alive. I mean, we're all brothers and sisters in this fandom. We all love the
Hmm.
fandom, so that's what I
True.
was trying to say. Maybe that was a terrible analogy. I don't know, but
No, no, it's great, dude.
sometimes I say things and they come out stupid. Uh, hopefully that time it didn't. But they want us to eat each other alive, and they don't want us to be united. They want us to be at each other's throats, causing chaos because they thrive off the chaos. They try to justify themselves with the chaos that they bring.
Yeah,
So if
yeah. I could actually give one good example of how that connects to Star Wars. If you really think about it, I mean, it's literally like a bunch of little Palpatines running around. I mean, I'm not kidding. He's sitting back in the shadows, watching the chaos, watching everyone fight.
hmm yeah.
I mean that's like how they are. They just sit back and like these big people like in Hollywood or celebrities, they just sit back and watch the people that don't like what we do. They fight them and they watch us fight them. So it's like they're sitting back watching and we're the fighters. It's really messed up when you think about it. But I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it takes a messed up person to try to turn you against your brother or your sister or your neighbor or whoever you want to name it. Whoever you want to call them. It takes a monster to do something like that. If they are trying to turn me against you just because they don't believe that our opinions about things are correct in their eyes, or not even that, we might not even know, like they might not even know what we believe, but they want to cause chaos anyway. Now there is a really wonderful quote in Batman, uh the Dark Knight Rises. I think that's the second one with the Joker. There is a brilliant
Dark
quote.
Knight, Dark Knight.
Oh, is it Dark? No, the Dark Knight Rises is the last one. Okay, so
Yeah.
there is a brilliant quote by Alfred, and if you've watched this movie, you know what I'm about to say.
Yes,
I won't be
love
able
them.
to word it word for word, but some people like can't be reasoned with. They're not looking for something logical. Some men just want to watch the world burn,
No
and there
burn.
is a
Yep.
lot of people like that. So I mean, I don't know exactly uh, what gives these people these ideas that they want to turn you against your fellow man. But it's so annoying to deal with stuff like that. And Star Wars does have a lot of stuff that, um, whether it's intentional or not, can be uh, matched with something that's happening in the real world, like the Krell incident in with Umbara. He turned the clones against each other because he had another goal. He was lying to them the entire time. He was thinning out their numbers. Uh, he was literally he was destroying them, and they were getting really tired of what he was doing. but they
Yeah.
still stayed with him because they were loyal, no matter their gripes. But he was still trying to turn them against him, and uh, it was just honestly, I'm not sure if I'm explaining it right now that I think about it. But
It's okay because we I think we all get something from Star Wars, but we have our own opinions about what we can get from Star Wars or parallels or whatever.
mhm.
But I think that where we stand truly is who do we want to be like in Star Wars? Do we want to be the side that wants to protect people, wants to have freedom and stuff? Do you want to be the side that wants to enslave people, put them in concentration camps or whatever? That's what the Empire did, by the way. And so, what is your thing you want to do? What side do you want to be on? I think I want to be on the side of the good, even if they're still a little bad. It doesn't because it's like, yeah, you know what? It's true. Like, some things happen in our community that isn't the best for our own people. I mean, we can all fight. We can all get mad at each other, stab each other. Whatever. I don't know what we do, but but we always come back together because of Star Wars or whatever we're talking about. And there's also another good quote from The Dark Knight I really like, and it's Joker. He has all the money and he burns it. He's like that, and the dude's like, "That's the money," and he said, "This was never about money. This was about sending a message."
It's not about the money. It's about sending a message. You know the funny thing about chaos? Chaos is like gravity. All it takes is a little push. I love that movie. It's so quotable.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is the best quote from the whole movie, and you know what I'm about to flip and say. So get ready. You live long enough to see yourself.
Yes.
You live long enough to see yourself
Yes.
become the hero, or live long
No,
enough to see yourself
that
become the villain.
that is
I
my
thought
Twitter
you were gonna
bio.
say, "I'm not wearing hockey pads."
Oh,
I'm
my
not wearing hockey
God.
pads. No, you either die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Or I'm pretty sure that's how it goes.
Yeah, you live
I'm
long enough to see yourself become the hero. Live long enough to see yourself become the villain, and that was what Two Face became. He was the hero, and he became the villain, and that was such a good message at the end of the movie, and I loved it. It was so good, and but Bane really brought a lot of stuff into it because he was like the revolution, like us, like we're fighting back against Disney Star Wars. And then Batman comes in to save everyone. Well, I guess we're Batman. I guess we're stopping Disney.
yeah, I was about to say Bane is not the good guy. No,
Well, Disney's
I
blowing
am the
bridges every which way
darkness.
they can go. So I mean, I
You
mean
think the
that's
darkness is your ally?
But going
the
back
darkness is
to
your ally, Mister Wayne. The darkness is
Harkin says addiction to power with no core to believe creates people that want to watch the world burn. That yes, that's where those people come from, huh? They have an addiction to power with no core to believe. That's a good. Uh, that's really good. I like that. All right, so I've deviated a little too much. I'll finish up what I was about to say real quick. I think I remember. Okay, so back to what I was saying about the Umbara arc. There's other arcs too, not just the Umbara arc. The
Mhm.
one I was mentioning earlier about the one with Saw Gerrera and his sister, that whole arc there. I'd have to watch it again, but I think by like the next stream or something like that, I will do that, and I will actually do like sort of a breakdown of what I believe that symbolizes in today's culture, what parallels it draws. But as far as like, there is a lot of Krells in the world, maybe not as many as there are of people that oppose those Krells, which is what I'd love to believe. But as vocal as these Krells are, it's hard to. I mean, these Krells make a very loud noise, and it's hard to distinguish how many of them there are because they are so loud. And then there's like the majority that isn't as loud, but and they're not making like as loud of a noise as the Krells are. So who you gonna hear first? The Krells, which are really loud, or the clones who aren't like speaking up enough? And of course, the answer is going to be the Krells because you hear them first. And if it seems like there's enough of them, of course you're going to listen to them. But in the end, the word of that vocal minority doesn't reflect like everybody's ideas or notions. So that's really what I'm trying to say. And I can go even more in depth about the parallels, but I already did my little breakdown in that tweet. And I'm just going to leave it at that as far as that. But maybe by next stream, we can actually break down what we think about that other arc. I think it's the War on Two Fronts. I think that's what it's called.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to pass it on to Psycho now. Go ahead, buddy.
So we're talking about parallels.
Yeah, what parallels can you draw from Star Wars? Like um what in Star Wars makes you think of something in the real world? Let me put it that way.
So, there's just, I feel like everything in Star Wars is like as Commander Tano said, it's political. It's apolitical but political. If that like, I felt like that was such a good way to describe it. It's like I don't know. There's a lot of people in our society that I feel like are, as you said earlier, they're kind of just manipulated and just hating one another, and just like they're manipulated by those Krell type people, and they want to hear those type people out. I feel like we're just gonna talk about the Umbara arc all night, and that is fine with me.
It was probably the best arc in the whole fourth season, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all simultaneously were like,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. No, I don't mean to interrupt, but there is one thing I did want to say real quick before I forgot.
Okay.
Because, there's one line in Star Wars that makes it sum up everything for me, and I think you know this line, and this is how the Republic falls with thunderous applause. I mean that is, or no, this is how liberty dies with thunderous applause. That is the biggest truth in all of Star Wars. And now you guys can have the floor.
And it says it says a lot about how people are easily manipulated as well, with thunderous applause. Not with, oh no, everything that we've worked for, in the Republic, it's being turned into the Empire. They were like, this is a great thing. We're gonna clap. So yeah, I mean, I think it just goes to show that, if there's a loud enough voice, people will listen, and it will gather enough attention. And that's so that's one thing. And I mean, um as well as, I think the central message that another thing that we've talked about a lot on the stream is just hope in general. And I mean, I don't know, I'm forgetting my words, but yeah, I mean, obviously there are plenty of parallels to like racism in society, uh, very subtly, probably in the original trilogy, in the way that like the droids were treated. And I always like those type of political parallels. I like the very nuanced references to modern society. And that is a way that it's like, and that's a way that it was apolitical but political in a way as well, because
Yeah.
it's like they weren't making a political statement in any way by just saying, "Oh yeah, no droids allowed here." They don't. Yeah, they don't like droids in this universe. But I mean, if you think about kind of the deeper message, it was probably referencing, you know, racism in society, and so it's like that's
Yeah.
I like I like subtlety. Like I don't really appreciate, like you said, when it becomes so much so that it's
Mhm.
like, oh no, this isn't escapism anymore. It's just I'm
Yeah.
like watching the news
Yeah.
in space. That's
Yes.
kind of whack.
Yes. That's a great way to describe that. News in space.
News in space.
Yeah.
Space
Yeah.
news.
Yeah.
Look.
It,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, it's okay. But no, I also thought that with like the type of like I don't know, like sexism or like even though actual, because everyone's kind of beaten down on Princess Leia in that movie, and then and Luke and Leia, and Luke and Han are like, "Do you need help there, princess?" And she's like, "No, I ain't no normal princess." Because remember, she's like kick butt when they break her out.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
it's
Yeah.
like they created this strong female character that didn't need no man,
Yeah, she wasn't a damsel
they
in any
actually preach
way.
about.
Exactly. She was no damsel in that movie, and I think that that was a really awesome thing to have a really strong a really awesome female character like her. Um but there's just like there's so many different parallels to society, and especially those on top of society, I think, are the biggest parallels that we can think about when you think about how easily deceived like the council was. They were so manipulated that they were the only force in the galaxy in Phantom Menace up until like when they were so convinced that that Maul was not a Sith Lord, because they were just like, no, we would have known. And it's just that's and they're the sworn protectors of the galaxy, and they were so arrogant. And that's the thing, is that us as people, we a lot of time we kind of we get lost in our own arrogance, and we get lost in our own like,
Yeah.
oh no, I've got this, I'm me, I've got this, I'm capable of this. And that's the thing, is that sometimes we need to hear people out. That's important. We need to be honest with ourselves. We need humbleness. We need to be humble. If Anakin would have been humble, do you think he would have went down the path he would have? Maybe not. Probably not. His arrogance and his angst was
Yeah. Yeah,
probably,
you're right.
yeah, I mean, it was probably his biggest thing. And I think that's another parallel that's really important for us to consider, is that we need to kind of take the high road, if that makes sense. Like, don't,
We
this
need to
is a
take the
very
high ground. We need to
the,
take the-
The high
the
ground.
high ground. Oh my
Yes, the high
god.
ground.
No. Uh,
It's
but
Elba Anakin. I have the
in a
high ground.
sense,
You were my brother.
you. But basically, the all I'm trying to say is that when every day is a struggle, every day is a war, not a Star War, uh, but every day is a war within ourselves, and a war of all these different emotions and different feelings, and it's so tempting. It's so tempting to be like Anakin, or like so many others, and to give in and to your angst and anger, and when you get really frustrated in a moment,
Yeah.
it's so easy to do that, but
Yeah, well,
you never feel better for doing that, and I think
yeah.
that's a very important parallel, is that sometimes it's more difficult sometimes it's more difficult to not be the bad guy. Sometimes it's more difficult to not give in to your angst and your anger, but in the end, Those people are always going to end up with their legs chopped off in a suit.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the only
I
way I can
actually wanted to
say
say something about that real quick because you know, we all love Star Wars, blah blah blah. But one of the biggest reasons, and we can all know this is true about Anakin Skywalker, the reason he turned to the dark side wasn't because of Palpatine. Well, a little bit, but it wasn't really. He had just lost his master. Obi-Wan was stressing out about Qui-Gon, and then he had the whole Jedi Council breathing down his neck about being the chosen one. He had so much stress, and if Qui-Gon was there, because remember, Qui-Gon can master the light and the dark side through him and not be corrupted. So if Qui-Gon was there, then I don't think Anakin would have turned into Darth Vader, or he would have, or had his legs chopped off.
and that's why they had to have him killed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. That's actually a topic I want to go over in the next stream. We can actually do that next stream. Will just remind me if I do forget, but I do want to go over what would have happened if Qui-Gon hadn't died, because
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
this sounds
Alberto in the
fun.
chat
Mm,
said
yeah.
that
yes.
too.
I mean there's one particular reason why I thought about that, and not just because it was mentioned here, but if you guys remember the 2003 Clone Wars, he told Anakin told Obi-Wan, "You're no Qui-Gon Jinn." And it may not be canon anymore, but that is a strong line right there. He's telling his
Yeah.
master, who he considers a father at that point, before Episode 3, then he considers him a brother. But around that time, he considers him as a father, and he tells him that you're no Qui-Gon Jinn. You're nothing like your master. You're nothing at all like him. And that, in a way, that's sort of hurtful, but he understood that because Qui-Gon was a masterful Jedi. He was wonderful in basically every way. He was strong with the Force. He knew
Well,
the Force in and out. I mean,
well, I mean, he was Liam Neeson after all. I
He
mean, he
was
was-
Liam
yes.
Neeson.
And well, yeah, of course, Liam Neeson is the best. But he, like Alberto down here says, Master Qui Gon would often disagree with the Council, which is actually, I mean,
It's a
that's
good point.
another
I was
topic
just
for another
about to
time.
make that point. Actually, you stole that from me, so now you're the thought thief.
Hey, no, blame it
the
on Alberto.
Qui-Gon special
No,
over
I was
Blame it
here.
about
on
to
him.
get.
He's
I
the
was
one that
about to
said
be
it.
like, "Yo, shut
I'm
up,
just,
Alberto."
I'm just
But that's my
repeating.
homie
Don't shoot the
Alberto
messenger.
saying.
Don't shoot the messenger, okay? I'm just here.
Don't
I blame
shoot
you,
the
Alberto.
messenger. I'll cut
By the
off
way,
your
both of those comments you left are really good. I'll go ahead and read his out real quick because this is some food for thought. Then I'll say one more thing and then I'll hand it over to Commander Tano. But Alberto says that people are easily manipulated because they want to be. It's easier for them to follow someone who tells them what they want to hear than actually think for themselves and be responsible. That's the first one. Second one, Master Qui-Gon would often disagree with the council, and he would be punished for for it being denied a seat or a sit, and he didn't care because he knew conforming to the norm was not right. And there's so many things that I can take out of that second one. I want to save that for the next stream though when we talk about Qui-Gon. He'll be like one of the pivotal I can't even talk anymore. Pivotal points that I want to go over in the next stream. But there I have so many thoughts on.
Thank you, Alberto.
Yes, thank you, buddy. Um, there is so many things I can take from that. Like that's a whole other discussion, but I want to just say one little thing about that little discussion just to get those wheels in your head turning. Um, the council, in my opinion, we already talked about how arrogant they were, but uh, did we ever did anybody here ever think? Well, I know that you did, Psycho, but did anybody else here? If I can get Bounty Hunter back in here. Oh, he ain't. Okay, he'll be back.
he
He'll be
died,
back.
rip.
But if he's listening to the stream at all, like if he has it up anywhere else, I'm going to say this right now. Has any of us ever thought about whether the council, be it they are probably the good, they are the good guys, but has anybody ever thought that they were wrong in a lot of the things that they did? And could that have also been why Anakin turned to the dark side? That's a
Yes.
whole other conversation. But go ahead, and tell me what you think about that real quick.
Yes.
Completely yes. Okay. See, that's a long conversation for the next time. I don't want to hold us up too much, but go ahead and I know you sort of went over the parallels at the same time as the lessons earlier, Commander Tano, but if you have anything else to say about that, go ahead and share it with us.
Yeah, so I think this ties into things I've said before, but I think the two main parallels that I think the reason the reason you see I think every like catastrophe that you see happen in the Star Wars universe, it often boils back down to a failure to listen to someone. It boils down to someone assuming that either an individual or an institution has a monopoly on truth. And it boils down to just failing to follow up on what Dooku said about the Senate or what Maul said about Sidious and his plans for Anakin. It often boils down to something like that, and and so I think it's always interesting to me. What I see as a big problem, at least in the States, is obviously politics is extremely polarized, and you see, and maybe it's easier for me to say some of this because it's like I vote third party, and so it's like I love complaining about both of the big parties and issues I have with them. But the thing is, what I often see in politics is politicians, they don't spend so much, and it's rare, sometimes they don't do this, but they don't spend so much time selling who they are and what they do as much as they spend time saying, well, that guy lied, that guy said this thing that isn't true, or that it's like, great, you've told me that your opponent has lied and said things that are untrue. Great, I agree with you, but you have not established that you are telling the truth either. That's like a
I
and so
agree.
it's interesting to look at that in terms of prequel era with the Republic and the Separatists, and that a lot of alliances in the Clone Wars, it just boils down to these partisan categories. And I think the people who seem to have the most moral clarity are the ones who are willing to look past that. And the thing is, it's like just being willing to entertain doubt, listening to someone who you may think is unhinged or crazy. That doesn't mean that you're obliged to accept that what they are claiming is true. It's just saying that you're willing to listen and you're open to the possibility you may be wrong about something. So that's, I think, an interesting area of, if we're talking about parallels. I think the other is, and yeah, Umbara is getting a lot of love this evening, but to go back to that, it's the thing with Umbara is if it were simply that you have two categories of individuals, you have this small collection of Krells, and then you have everyone else, I think it would be a lot easier to solve problems in the world. Unfortunately, you've got a third category, and I think it's a very large one. You have a lot of dogmas. You have a lot of, you have a few, let's pretend, for example, hypothetical, pick something that's blatantly false. Like say if I am a Krell and I want to spread this claim and pretend that it's true, that say like Star Wars fans are sexist, or like most Star Wars fans are sexist. I know personally that's not true. But I want to, for my personal gain, I want to spread that claim and make people think it's true. In order to do that, in order for the general Krells of the world to have power, they depend on a lot of dogmas, a lot of people who
blind loyalty.
Yes, yeah. This isn't out of this isn't out of malevolence. They sincerely believe that that this proposition that they are spreading, that it's true, and that they are doing good by spreading that. And sometimes it's hard to tell, you know, when you're engaging with someone, especially on the internet, am I engaging with a Krell or am I engaging with a dogma? But you want to engage with those two. You want to figure that out because you need to handle them both differently. For someone who is knowingly spreading something that is false, there's not much you can do about them,
Yeah.
especially if they're in power. But for people who they are sincerely convinced that what they are doing is right. Like they may be people who are calling, say for the firings or the cancellations of various people, and they think that what they're doing is moral. They may in their mind they may not see anything problematic or malicious about that. But you have to deal with engage with someone like that a lot differently. And sometimes we pride ourselves, all individually. Every single person most people on the planet like to think of themselves as open-minded and not the kind of person who could possibly be manipulated by an authority figure. But it happens. And so it's always important to doubt and consider the possibility. And I think finally, like when trying to engage with people who you might think be dogmas, I think one thing to keep in mind is giving them space, learning how to give them space and feel comfortable with changing their minds. And that's like why, for instance, when I talk to people about politics, like there are lots of words that have lost their meaning in recent years, like fascist, capitalist, socialist, Marxist. There's so many ists and isms out there. I usually, unless I'm trolling corporate accounts and calling them out on their hypocrisy regarding fascism, I generally, when I'm engaging with real people, I don't use those words, because I found sometimes it's actually kind of fascinating to me when I talk to people. Some people will think that I'm a capitalist or a socialist, or like they'll think of all kinds of things, and because they have very different definitions of those terms. And so I think it's important to kind of ask people questions about what they believe, how they came to this point that they feel that these deeply held beliefs they have are true, whether it's like something like Star Wars fans are sexist, and just to ask questions about that and probe that. But yeah, that was a long ramble, but I think that's kind of a parallel. It's very subtle that you find in the Umbara arc, but that's the thing, that third category of individuals, those dogmas. Like you can't have Krell without a bunch of dogmas who can keep him in power unknowingly.
Yep. I agree with all that. That is for sure.
I do as well.
The funny thing about that comparison with the Krells and the dogmas, the funny thing is Krell. Okay, now let me start off with this. A lot of the people that spread the lies or tried to get people to join them have a position of power, just as Krell does. He's a general. He's commanding over all the clones, and he's relying on the blind loyalty of all those dogmas to push his lies to the others. If enough of them believe it, then I'm sure that most of them will. So that's sort of the point I was trying to make with that, as well as that since he was in a position of power, he was able to do that as well. And it made it easier. And that's how it is in real life too. The people in power tend to always somehow get a large following of people, and they end up doing, all that stuff, spreading their lies and all that. And when you said that about how some of those words lost their meaning, I tweeted out something about cancel culture a while back. I don't know if you've seen it, but I put out that cancel culture is a disease, and if left untreated, it can spread and worsen with time. That's basically what was going on. And then I added on to it that, let's see, I'm looking at it right now. Let's see. all the things that we consider wrong no longer have any meaning. Racism, Nazis, sexist, bigot, transphobic, and so on. Now, I was talking about that in that tweet. A lot of the things that they claim a lot of people are, uh, they reuse that for literally anybody that they disagree with. So a lot of those words that, like I mentioned, and a lot of the ones that you mentioned as well, no longer have the meaning they used to. When you hear racism, you think about the times when people were segregated and all that stuff, hating on each other for their skin color. Nowadays, when you hear racism, you're like, okay, are they white and they do something wrong, or are they actually being racist? That's sad. You don't want to think like that when it comes to things like that, because those acts, like acts of racism, acts of being transphobic or sexist or whoever, all that stuff is just wrong. You shouldn't. I mean, whether you believe in some of those things or not, you shouldn't judge other people for it. I mean, you don't have to agree with it, but you don't judge them for it, and that's the point I was trying to make with that. But I'm not saying that you should let, like, let's say, racism slide. That's We can all agree here that that is completely wrong. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But as you were saying, all those words have lost their meaning, and that is just, it's sad because they don't mean what they used to. And when you hear them, you're like, okay, that again. Oh, okay,
They're
that's
just
that's
kind
just
of
great.
they're kind of like kind of like I don't know, like I don't know. I had a word that I was gonna use and I totally lost it. It's like I don't know. It's like if you hear a word over and over and over again, it I don't know. It kind of just loses its meaning over time, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I
go ahead.
think,
Sorry.
yeah, I was saying, I think also what you're noticing is with a lot of these pejorative categories, what's happened is the threshold that one has to clear to go into one of those categories has lowered. It's a lot easier. But what hasn't happened at the same time is the consequences of what happens if you get tossed into one of those categories. Those have not those haven't mellowed. It's you can lose your job. Um you can be ostracized from your community if you
Mm.
get one of those labels affixed to you. And I think
Hmm.
that's what that's a big problem. That's why it's like seeing a lot of these terms used over and over, and it's
They're kind
um
of weaponized in a way.
Yeah.
These words.
yeah, and I think it was interesting with the whole Gina Carano situation. I think she kind of picked up, I think she just was observing, like, oh, if I use fascism or Nazis, and those terms have a lot of power and have a lot of currency. People are using those, and I think she, being a rational actor, decided, I'm going to use those to make this political statement. And the interesting thing is, at least as far as, because it is very in vogue to make Nazi statements, and make very overwrought comparisons to the Holocaust and things like that. Uh, I would say, in comparison to other statements I've seen, it was pretty tame, and just not. She didn't even put in the terms like Republicans or Democrats, or like affix any group of people to that metaphor. She was just talking very generally and generically about
Hmm.
it. But it's um it's been interesting to me to see people use
Overreact.
those terms very frequently so that they lose their meaning, and then when
Yeah.
someone comes along and uses them in the way that they don't want, it's like, oh no, you can't, no, 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 like, we don't want to get a taste of our own medicine here. It's yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. That brings up another topic about, like, the Johnny Depp situation. He's I don't know how you feel about it. I can say probably that most of us, probably, I hope anyway, whether we agree or not, it don't matter. But that he didn't do anything wrong. And I might be
Yeah.
missing something. I might be missing something. If he did do something wrong, I'm against it. But if he from what I've heard, he hasn't done anything wrong. He's been proven innocent.
Shay's worried
But
about
they
getting
still,
canceled tonight on the stream. If he did do anything, I am not aware of it. But
hey, hey, it's sad that I have to do that too.
I
It is
know
so
it's like a
sad. I don't want
disclaimer,
to get
man.
canceled before I take off, okay? I want to actually do something before I get canceled, okay? But Johnny Depp, as far as I've read into it, I've looked into it a little bit. He's been proven innocent and all this stuff. He hasn't done all the things that Amber Heard has said, as far as I know. And she, like, they've proven that a lot of the things that she's done, like, something about the charity money that she got, I think she, like, didn't do with it what she said she was going to. She lied about it. All those things. She was proven to be the villain, but they still didn't, you know, was it like they denied the appeal or something like that he put in the UK courts. It that just goes to show what society is. Whether they're wrong or not, they don't care. They just want to send their message, and it's gotten hard for people that haven't done anything wrong to live in this world because they're always being accused of doing something wrong, whether they have or not. And um, well, I like this point that Chrono down here put out. It's he said some of them actually want to go and want to do good and follow movements they don't fully understand. Uh, at oh my gosh, I can't read. The people at the top counts on that to weaponize them. Yes, that makes total sense. Uh, that just gets you thinking. A lot of the people that believe this, and it also goes for the Gina Carano situation too. A lot of people are blindly saying that she's a transphobic and that she's anti-mask and all that stuff, but she has not said those things outright. But they draw these conclusions, and that
Yeah, there's been, it's like people have been very willing to just state claims without evidence, and when asked for evidence, it's um, either that, you know, people disappear from the conversation, or it's like, if you're asking for evidence, somehow that makes you evil. It's crazy.
see the situation with Johnny Depp, he's the victim here. And, it's sort of unheard of that a male is a victim to a female. At least that's what they want us to believe. And the thing about that is that's why it's so hard to believe when a male is a victim to a female's abuse. Because how often do you hear something like that? And then they're going
I
off these
feel
like
like it's
stereotypes
super
of,
underreported.
yes. It's not only just that. There's so many things in this world that's either underreported or not reported on at all because it doesn't fit the narrative that they are trying to put through.
Or just not considered by society or by somebody to technically be abuse. Like, I feel like we are taught as men to just kind of just sort of lay back and chill and whatever. I don't know, like I feel like I've seen like a lot of like, I don't know. I feel like I've seen a lot of women hit men in arguments around here and been like,
Mm-hmm.
"Wow, that's totally wrong." But it's like, the point that I'm making is that those people obviously didn't think anything about it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's sad. I don't
Yeah.
know. There was a point in there that sounded like a super sexist rant. I don't know where I was going with that. I was going somewhere.
you you lost track of
If
yourself.
someone could trace where that was landing, I would like to know. I
Well,
really would, because it was going somewhere, and it's like that. It's like that on 9/11, that one plane that was like gonna make it but just didn't. They crashed it in the field. That's what that thought was. It just crashed in the field.
I don't know where your thought was heading, but to pick up on the see now I don't know if I want to do this with with this metaphor, but to pick up on that thought, I think in terms of, you know, and once again, I don't know. I know very little about the whole Johnny Depp situation. But you know, from what little I do know, just assuming he is the victim, I think just it's talking about like just male victims of domestic violence in general. It's yes, I do see on the internet, you see some kind of like domestic violence support groups and charities, organizations, things like that. You occasionally see them pay lip service to like, oh yes, men can be victims too, and yes, they should be supported. But to be honest, it's like I would be very like I, as a woman, would feel very comfortable telling someone about a story of domestic violence if that had happened to me. If I were a man, I would not feel comfortable with that.
It's like
because
it's very stigmatized.
it is, and I think it's something it's stigmatized by both the main political factions in the U.S. for different reasons. I think I think if you're coming from more conservative circles, like it's stigmatizing because it's like there's expectations of men to be the kind of the strong leaders, so forth, and that can't domestic violence that can't possibly happen to them.
So
and
good news. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, and I was saying, from the left, I think there are a lot of people who just think by definition men are the aggressors, they are predators, they can't possibly, but just by definition can't be victims, when that is completely false. Anyways, you were saying.
I was just gonna say, good news. I found out where my thought was going. I realized it, and I was not saying that women hit men or something crazy. I was saying that I see things happen like that pretty commonly around here, and it's not like a weird thing. And the point being is that I think that that's abuse, but obviously those people don't really think it's abuse. So I think that's one reason that domestic violence is underreported in a lot of ways. It's like we're just kind of, a lot of people are just like, oh yeah, that's just kind of whatever. It's just my babe. She's a spitfire. She fucking beats the shit out of me. Sorry to curse, fellas. I'm getting tired.
Let's see. Oh yeah. Let's see. I lost what I was about to say. Dang it.
Well, to land my thought was that it's very common that these things are underreported because we're just kind of taught as men to deal with them and to sit back and just relax and whatever. That's what we're supposed to do. And I'm not saying that you should engage. I'm just saying that maybe we should, make sure that these cases are being reported.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm giving a speech in front of class about domestic violence. Like I'm in my college class and I'm like, and so that was domestic violence speech.
Well, I've got like a point that will lead into our surprise topic that I didn't mention to anybody just yet.
I'm so very excited.
Yes. So back to the parallels thing. This is just going to be one short. I hope it's going to be short because we are at 2 hours and I don't want to hold anybody up too much longer. I got like 2 more topics left to go. But let's see. What was I about to say? Okay, so the dogmas are the people that will believe anything without a doubt. And the Krails are the ones that say that this is this way, this is that, or this is that way. Those people don't believe in a middle ground at all. They also believe that if you're not with them, you're against them. And if you want to say those people can be like, I guess, the Sith of this world, they deal in absolutes, and
I was
that's
about to say that.
yes, and that is exactly what the next topic is, because it doesn't seem like a lot of people understand what and I could be wrong. From what I've seen on the internet, not many people understand what an absolute or what that line meant. That's just a little fun topic I wanted to discuss. So
This is gonna be
I'm going to
fun.
go. Yes, I'm going to go last because I've done some research and I have my own idea of what Anakin or Obi-Wan meant by that. But what does that line mean? And you know what? I think I started off with you last time, Psycho. So Commander Tano, tell us what you think Obi-Wan meant by that.
Well, first of all, what I find really interesting about that line is um, Palpatine doesn't say it exactly, but it's the bit earlier where he's telling Anakin to kind of look beyond the dogmatic views of Jedi. He's not so far saying like absolutes are bad, but his statement comes kind of close to that. But I think, yeah, whenever you're talking about like what do we mean by a statement like that is seems to be against absolutes. It's like, well, is that an absolute statement? You get kind of these word games that people tend to play when you talk about that. But
Yeah.
I think when Obi-Wan is talking about only a Sith deals in absolutes, I don't think necessarily he's talking so much about knowledge or truth claims. Although he could be, you could adapt that statement to that. I think it's more so he's talking about people and personal alliances and recognizing that and a problem that we have right now and why politics and social discourse is so ugly is that a lot of people have taken this view that a person is a package and you have to accept everything in that package or none of it. You can't talk to someone that you may disagree with on certain points and agree with on others.
And that's an absolute.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can either absolutely affirm everything that person affirms, or you can absolutely set yourself against everything that person affirms. There's no possibility. You can't pick and choose. You can't associate with person A and B. You can only do either A or B. So I think I think that may be some of what Obi-Wan meant, because I think Anakin at that point, he's in this headspace with the Jedi are evil. And yes, you see in the Clone Wars that the Jedi Order had a lot of failings and flaws, and there were a lot of bad Jedi. And I think this is kind of Obi-Wan's attempt to say, well, yeah, but there are also a lot of, the Jedi Order is composed of individuals. You don't have to necessarily accept the whole package. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Things, kind of cliches like that come to mind. But yeah, so I'm thinking like in terms of absolutes, it's talking about people and relationships and political alliances.
Okay, that's really good. That is really good. I didn't really think of it that way, but now you got me thinking about it that way. Go ahead, Psycho. You tell me what you think.
So, I think that, man, how am I going to word this? I sat here and thought about this whole time, and you're telling me.
There was a reason why I didn't tell anybody about this one, because I wanted to. Yes, I wanted to know what if you guys had an answer off the top of your head without you actually thinking about it, because that would be. I feel like that would be the best answer to get from that, because I just wanted to know your raw thoughts. That's what I'm trying to say.
Like he was basically just saying like you sold your soul to the devil for this thing. You know, this thing
Yeah.
that you could have worked through, you took and you gave everything up for it. That's that's almost like I feel like that's what he was saying in a way. And like I don't know, maybe I'm totally wrong, but I feel like an absolute when he's saying like I don't know, it's like giving everything up, compromising your morality, everything you believe, everything you stand for, giving all of that up because like and I'm not trying to diminish the fact that his spouse was perhaps in deathly danger for all he knew, and she was in deathly danger, but he was the threat after all. um which I think is a really interesting parallel too, is that we're coming back to that, is that we are all our own worst enemy in some ways and in lots of ways for a lot of people. And that's something that Anakin definitely, like if you read the Vader comics, he's very very tortured. He's definitely like, hates
Mm-hmm.
himself a lot more than anyone else hates him for sure.
Yep.
But um yeah, I really want to hear your researched educated top or
Well,
ideas about this.
well, it might not be the greatest, especially after hearing you guys. But before I go into my thoughts, I'm going to read a couple of the comments down here that I've neglected to read. Chrono says Johnny Depp won't get justice because if any court rules in his favor, he has set a precedent against this narrative that women are always victims and never victimizers. I agree with that. Um, let's see. Harkin says male domestic violence victims are closer than I can't even pronounce words anymore. Basically saying that it's not reported mainstream as much as it should be.
And I feel
And
like sorry to interject right quick. I feel like
okay,
we should just add right quick that this is not to diminish any domestic violence
yeah,
done to women. That's
yeah.
terrible. That's whack.
Don't get us
But just
canceled.
talking about the fact that it is underreported. That's
It
all
is.
we're saying.
It is. So he also says in studies that ask women if they beat their partners, they express surprise when they are told that it is domestic violence. That is surprising. He also he says that Commander Tano has hit it out of the park, right out of the park, straight off the bat. I completely agree with that. Her answer was probably the best one. It was probably better than mine. Let's see.
She said
I highly
intellect.
doubt that you're too kind.
I'm a very nice guy.
Hit us with
Uh,
that intellect, madam.
well, I'm going to give you their thoughts because they both put out what they think is absolutes real quick since this is the topic, and then I will get to mine. I know everybody wants to hear mine specifically. Uh, when he says you turned her against me, it is clear that he only cares about who takes his side. He stopped seeing her as the woman he loved and saw her as his enemy. I didn't think about that. That is really, really
That's
that
crazy,
thought
man.
provoking.
That
I
is
mean,
so thought provoking.
yeah, the moment that she says, "I don't know you anymore, Anakin, you're breaking my heart. You're going down a path I can't follow,"
You're
and
right.
he's
There's a
like,
look in his eye. Something changes
"Yes,
in that moment. Thank you for sharing that with me, man. That is
yes,
very interesting.
thank you, Chrono. You're awesome." Harkin says the absolute. You are either with me or against me, which is a wrong way to look at an interaction. Actually, that is sort of what I was about to say. I'm going to actually expand on that. So, Anakin says, "You're with me or against me," um, and that's when Obi-Wan says, "Only a Sith deals in absolutes." So, um, what I got out of that is that for the Sith, and this might not be universal to all Sith. Of course, Obi Wan answers with an absolute. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. That's an absolute statement, if I'm not mistaken. But I hope I got that right. But the statement about no, it's okay, Harkin. It's okay. Let me think. See, Anakin basically, and I think you sort of touched a little bit on this, Commander Tano, but they believe that if you're they believe how do I want to say this, because I've really been thinking hard about this and I wanted to do it right. I want to do this justice. Oh, hold on, there we go, he's back. All right,
Welcome back.
so
I always come back.
so back to what I was saying about the absolute. So there is no middle ground, is what I'm trying to say. There is no middle ground. You're either there or you're not. So the moment that you are like, the moment that you show any sort of a like you said, if you don't accept the whole package, then you're either with them or against them. Basically, I mean, if you have to either accept them for the whole thing or you don't accept them at all.
It's a very
That's
toxic perspective.
yes, and that and it, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was an absolute statement.
It was. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, and as definition, and I'm just paraphrasing an absolute. No, I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to say my thoughts are all over the place at this point.
Me too.
But
this whole thing really just came and just hit me out of the blue.
yes, that's what it was meant for, and
That's the point. That was
you know, it's sad though. I had time to prepare for this one, and I'm doing worse than both of you. So I was talking about this with somebody, and that's when I started thinking about it. I'm like, what does that mean? So I start looking into it. I go on the internet and I look up the definition of absolute. There's many different definitions, but the one that stood out to me was the saying that everything is this or everything is that. That's an absolute, and that's basically what Anakin was saying, is that if you're not with him, you're against him. That's an absolute, and that goes into like the Sith philosophy. If you aren't with the Sith, then you're against them. There is no middle ground. There's no talking about it. Now the Jedi are willing to try to help you. They're willing to talk to you, try to change your perspective. They don't want to go to violence first. It's not like if you're against them, they're just going to flat out attack you. No, they want to try to change your mind. And they don't believe that every person on the enemy side is actually a bad person. I mean, just go back to a episode in the Clone Wars. I think it's Heroes on Both Sides. That's where Ahsoka goes to meet Lux and his mother with Padme. There are heroes on both sides. Those were good separatists. She wanted to stop this war between the separatists and the Republic. There are good on both sides.
Yeah, and also, and hi, I'm back, everyone. But the thing about that is that these the best example I can say for that of the Jedi trying to change people and if they don't want to conform and get out is the final. I'm gonna say the Bad Batch arc of Clone Wars and then the Siege of Mandalore, because Ahsoka tries to get Maul on her side. Remember, she's like, "I can help you. We can do this together. Just tell me what you know." Anakin even tries to get that one spider separatist dude to join him, and then he doesn't, and Anakin slashes him to bits. So I mean, we've had moments, and definitely Obi-Wan Kenobi's the definite one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he tried to reason with Grievous in episode 3, and then Grievous tried to kill him. So,
well, I feel like that was not exactly reasoning, but more of an aggressive negotiation.
Yeah, but Obi-Wan was more. Obi-Wan
negotiation with a lightsaber.
Negotiation. I came up with that on the spot. I'm sorry.
Well, Obi-Wan Kenobi, I guess he was in a tough spot there, but he tried, and then some things happened that really go his way, and Grievous fell off a cliff. So that
well, I think Obi-Wan was the one doing the falling.
He did not have the
He
high
just
ground.
saw.
Then he did not have.
He did have he had the high ground, but they shot him off of it.
They shot him off of the high ground.
No, they
Yeah.
didn't even shoot him. They shot the high ground and knocked him off of it.
They shot the high ground. That's the worst thing you could do.
Man, you know what? Anakin could have won that fight if he had just shot the high ground. Just think
Anakin
about
didn't
that.
even need to do anything. You just
lightsabers,
run
he
his
can't shoot the
lightsaber at
high
him. You just-
You underestimate my power. Don't try it. Blows up the high ground. Oh,
What is he
dead.
gonna do? What is he gonna do?
Have you noticed everyone that's ever had the high ground against Obi-Wan has died or gotten their
Hey.
legs cut off or something?
Hey, Maul had the high ground, but he doesn't know the art of the high ground like Obi-Wan does.
Yeah.
There's like some external lore, not in the movies, of course. It's I guess in like external media about probably those lightsaber arts and all that stuff that Obi-Wan has learned, and one of them being the art of the high ground. I don't know if that's actually what it's called.
The high
But,
ground is technically lore now.
Well, it's
Honestly,
like
the high ground was always lore.
High
yeah.
ground economics. I mean, I mean,
I've gotten off topic. Let me get back to my absolutes. Okay, so as I was saying, there is no middle ground. They believe that you're either with them or against them. So if you slightly disagree, you're automatically on the opposite side. It doesn't matter how much you have a like with that person or how much you agree. If there's one thing that you disagree with, you're practically out of their circle. That's how like narrow-minded they are. They're so focused on trying to gain power and not letting anyone stand in their way that they will even kill each other because they are that selfish. So, I mean, that's sort of what I was thinking. What he meant by that is that only a Sith reasons the way that he does. It's more of a form of reasoning for the Sith. That's what I was thinking. That's a better
Man,
way
we
to.
are going in deep on this episode.
Yes.
I love
Yes. See, that's
just spiritual talk. I mean, no, I'm just joking, but I mean, it's good. We've talked about some really deep subjects in Star Wars, the Umbaro arc, and you know the gray line between the rebellion or the separatists, the rebellion, and the Empire. I mean, this has really been a lot of some serious stuff tonight about Star Wars.
A lot of really good. What I've really appreciated is how we've really brought in all these real life concepts, and how they've related back into Star Wars. And I don't know. I think that the reason that me and Shade started this project was just because we have such a love for Star Wars, and it's really great that I think through this, my love for Star Wars is going to grow even more. So that's really awesome. So I've really enjoyed this stream tonight. But on to whatever other topic Shade has planned for us.
I have like 2 more topics, but we have pushed 2 hours and 17 minutes so far. I don't know if you guys have anything else you need to do. If not, we can go on to the next one.
Dude,
let's.
Hey, man, I'm sorry. Let's finish this up, and then we can talk about other stuff to do.
Okay, so I'll shorten it. We won't go over that last the next topic. You two, Bounty Hunter and Commander Tano, sort of went over your thoughts already about the sequel trilogy. That we will save for maybe the next stream.
Yeah, we can do a
since we
sequel
are
trilogy stream. That'd be good. But talk all about sequels.
Well, we'll do like a breakdown of Star Wars and the current state of Star Wars stream. That'll be the next stream that we do. So
amazing.
Yeah. So we'll go on to the last topic, which is in my opinion very short. But first, before I do that, Chrono says yes, the high ground is a technique somewhere in the vast lore of Star Wars. It does exist. And let's see, Harkin says.
Sorry. I mean, Mace had the high ground. I mean, and then Palpatine threw him out a window. So, I mean, it works both ways.
Well, I mean, Palpatine was pretending to be weak, though. He was
true, but still. Anakin could have sliced his arm off or something, or Palpatine, but.
Okay, Harkin says when dealing with people you can ally with, or ally with,
Oh,
ally. Shut up, Psycho, shut up. I know I can't read. Um,
liqueur.
no, don't bring that up. Don't.
It's
No,
for another
just
stream.
maybe. Okay,
Maybe.
so when dealing with people, you can ally with people that you can completely disagree with. It is when you lock out of interacting with someone because you disagree with. You're dealing with an absolute. Basically, the same thing I said. So me and you, Harkin, have the same idea. I do completely agree with you, and I think you worded it a little bit better because you got my point across with less words. That's what I'm trying to say. Let's see. Chrono says the thing with Master Windu was just lazy writing. So lame. It went down that way. Well, honestly, I mean, I guess I sort of agree. I don't think it was like lazy, but more. Well, I mean, it could be. I don't know.
Okay,
I
lazy writing is how Kit Fisto and all the other Jedi went out. They just got stabbed once and then they were all down
They
for the
got
count.
killed immediately.
okay.
Okay,
I
I'm gonna
agree.
defend this. In the novelization, it said that he was moving so fast that they were basically defenseless. It just didn't really translate to film.
I've also heard that sound that he makes sort of stuns them.
I bet it did. It stunned
Oh
me.
yeah.
And you know what? That could make sense, but I wish that was a little more like explicit. Maybe they should have act like they were stunned or something like that by that sound that he made. But
I
Yeah,
know
they
either
got
way,
stabbed
the
and then
first
like
time I heard that sound, I was like, "What was that?"
I mean,
Oh, that came
that,
from Palpatine. Oh,
yeah,
that's whack.
maybe the sound was just so weird. They're like, what
Oh!
is that?
I
Is
need
that
to
his
show
battle
here.
cry?
I'll talk. I need to show something though. Just talk and then I'll be
Okay. All right. So last topic. Let me make sure I'm getting this right because I wrote all these down. I just
better
want to
get
make
it
sure.
right. No, I'm joking.
Let's see. Possible plans. Oh gosh, I can't. That's stuck on here now. Possible plans for the future of this channel, and I've already said a few things about this. And Psycho don't know anything about my plans yet. I haven't gotten to talk to him about all this stuff just yet, so I can't like confirm or deny that any of this stuff will happen. I want to do more than just live streams in the future, but I do want to make this particular show, the Star Wars Topics show that I've got going right now. I want to make that a weekly series where I get a bunch of friends, such as yourselves, and including all three members of the Force Collective. Which actually now, I mean, I can probably include you two in here since you guys are the first people to ever join me on my first ever stream. So I think I will include you guys into the collective. But as far as the three founding members, we three need to get on here, including a couple other friends such as yourselves. That will be like a weekly thing if it's possible for everybody. I'm not going to impose on anybody. If you got something else you have to do, I'm not going to force you to do it. But
And I would like for me and you to maybe sit down, maybe just in front of a camera and like make some legit looking videos where we talk about some of these ideas as well
yeah,
and break them down and just really go deep. Because I think
yeah.
that we've really went deep on some of this stuff tonight, and I really had a good time. So
And the thing is, there is so much more in Star Wars that we can do talk about. I mean, we already got plans for the next stream set up right now, talking about Qui-Gon and why the Council was wrong and all that
yeah, it's gonna
stuff.
be a
I
good
mean,
time. I'm excited
there
about it.
there is so much that we can talk about, and this show that I'm doing every week on Thursday is going to be at the same time every week if that's possible. I'll move it if I have to, but roughly every week Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, we'll be live streaming together with friends. We'll be talking about various topics in Star Wars. That's sort of what this show is all about. But I also want to be able to do, let's say, gaming with friends, maybe play some Star Wars themed games like Star Wars Battlefront 2, or
Oh
it
yes,
don't even
like
have to be
yes.
that. But
Let's do it. That sounds amazing.
I just got to get the equipment to be able to record my gameplay. I don't have that yet, but I have the
What do you
money for it.
got?
I'm going to have to look for it. Huh? Oh, I've got every console. I've got well, except for the new ones, of course. I got the Xbox One X. I got the PlayStation 4. I got a
Okay, good,
PC.
good, good.
Yeah,
Man,
I
I've got.
don't have
I'm
the new ones either.
flexing.
Don't worry.
I'm flexing. I'm flexing my awesomeness.
I
Um,
am too because I got them all. Don't worry about it. We can play whatever.
but I I mean, it don't even have to be just discussing Star Wars. It could just be having fun and talking over our gameplay, having fun with it. But I I mean, there's so many other things I'd love to get into, like creating actual stories for Star Wars.
Yeah.
I've got so many ideas for what I feel like would have been a better sequel trilogy, or maybe just a better um era than
Trying to
what we
figure.
got.
Yeah, I know that you and I have talked about that pretty
Yeah,
extensively. I'd really love to
Uh,
explore that.
can you
yeah,
guys
and
see what I'm showing? I don't know if you can or not.
I can see it a little bit. Yeah,
Okay, wait. I'm trying to angle
you
the
have a huge
camera right.
connection.
But look, there it is. That's
That's
Palpatine's arrest.
Oh, okay. I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, and I
Pretty
was like,
interesting.
well, the base has the high ground, and then he gets blasted out the window. So, but no, I love your plans for the channel. I do a lot of gaming stuff too. And
Yeah.
dude, did you know that you can just record straight through the PlayStation?
Yeah, I know that, but I want to not even just through PlayStation. I got other games on Xbox
Yeah.
that I don't have on here. So I've got my game split up between the consoles, but that's
Okay,
just
yeah, just give me your
one of the
gamer
few
tags in
things.
the DMs and
Okay, I'll do that. Um, I've got like other plans, like creating my own content at some point. Like let's say animations. I'd love to get into doing that. Um, I mean, I've done stop motion a long time ago. I even have like a short stop motion video. I don't know if I want to show it because I feel like it's like super embarrassing.
Now I
But
want to see it.
you want to see it? Should
I'll
I put it
watch
on the
it.
stream? I don't
I'm
know.
here.
I
You don't
might
have
put
to
it on
show
the
it on
stream.
stream.
Listen,
No,
one time
I'll.
I just wanna tell him a little bit. One time this man he
What?
filmed an entire pizza being baked in
Shut
the
up!
oven,
No,
thinking it was on a time lapse, and it wasn't.
no!
So he just had like a 26-minute video of a
Shut up!
pizza
No!
baking in the
Dang
oven.
it! Dang you! Dang you! Okay. Yes. Look, I just bought I think it was the Samsung S9 at the time, and it had like this time lapse feature. I thought I had it on it, so I wanted to film a pizza in the oven because I wanted to see. I was just experimenting with it, so I sat in front of that stove for 8 minutes with a phone in my hand, filming a pizza being cooked, and then when I got done with recording it, I went to play it back. It was playing in normal speed, and I'm like, "What? Really?"
No!
All that
Oh,
time I sat there for nothing.
Like his arms
my
trembling, just getting
condolences.
tired.
I know it. I know it. Look, if I ever find the stop motion, it has copyrighted music, but
Well, we know what happens when you use copyrighted music, don't we, First Clay? My trailer got struck down. Oh no,
Is he gone?
that was not a good sign. But no, man. No, I had still have it. I'm still trying to find a way to use the fun, but um, yeah.
somewhere.
But I have enough to show of it that people be interested. So, like Curzon and Tana have seen a little bit more of it than most, and they're very interested in it. So, yeah. But and because I mean, you're like the main guy I got at first. So I mean,
Yeah.
if I you Psycho Man, I know I'm.
Sorry, my
But
thing is cutting out real bad. It's storming
That's
here.
okay.
I was just like man, writing them and then
I'll find that video eventually. Look, I was testing out some features on one of my phones that I've had, and this was a little while back. So I'm not good at voice acting at all. So if it sounds bad, I mean, I'm okay with. Oh no! All right, guys.
Battle droid.
I'm getting ready to play it. I
Oh.
gotta let upload to it, I guess.
My problem, but whatever. I mean,
Let's see.
That's funny.
he says we've been through
Is
the
there
sequel
everyone
trilogy.
there? Everyone
Chrono said, "Yeah, I'm here." Oh wait, where? Oh, Psycho. Oh, he got cut. He said his was crashing. His might. Yeah, dang it. Well, you're stuck with me now, and my possible terrible video here if it ever finishes uploading. Because I don't want to hold you guys up
you can
too
play the
much
pizza
longer.
video.
No. Forget that one. I don't think you want that.
Listen, listen that.
He's back.
I'm back.
I mean, I don't know if he's like. Okay, you sound better.
This video is like a minute long. I don't know why it's taking so long to upload it. It's not like that big.
Fast? No, it's fast, but it takes a minute to upload it.
A little background on this little video here. So that I got on here. Thanks a lot, Psycho. Thanks a lot.
I gotta throw you
up here too. They're like, hey, I'll move it here.
But
this room's pretty bad. Sometimes I'll move into another one for me too. Just keep talking. I'm fine.
I was gonna ask, are you all obviously we're all. Are we all Eastern time at least?
Yeah, or Eastern.
Yep.
We're Eastern buddies. Let's see. You guys, maybe I can get it. All right.
Doing this at the same time next week.
Great to have this again next week at 6 p.m. Let's see.
But it seems like I mean, this has been.
Yeah, it has been. Well, you know what? Get off. I don't know why. I'll just DM it to you guys, and maybe it'll work for next stream, so I can show it off. Show off how sort of maybe possibly terrible it is. It's not that bad. Okay. I'm probably a little like. If you know me, and I say that a lot, I probably don't show the confidence that I probably should. So I'll probably talk bad about something that everybody else is like, "No, that's great." But
yeah, that I'm conscious that I'm probably gonna do the same thing.
I'll show this video off next stream if I can. I am very happy to have you guys here. It has been probably one of the greatest experiences I've ever experienced, besides maybe like being born. That was a great experience.
Besides being born.
Yeah. It's great to be alive. Let's see. Cool. Let me finish off and read this guy. Read Harkin's comment here. Cool. Is it a question that you need to ask when you have
are you on a computer?
to use Australian internet? No, I'm on my phone. And my phone's
okay. Here, let me show you a cool trick. Click on their comment. Just click on it.
Okay.
There. It's on the stream now.
Well, that is cool. I'm so glad you showed me that. Look, I'm new to this.
Yeah.
Man, you know what? Why didn't you tell me this sooner? I've been doing this the entire stream, and you're like, "How dare you? How dare you leave me in the loop?"
I have the high ground, Anakin. No.
Fine, I'll give you the high ground for this stream. Okay, so it has been great. It has been really wonderful having all of you on here. I mean, especially it's just great that me and Psycho are finally getting to do the one thing that we've wanted to do for so long, but never
Yeah,
actually
we've
done.
really talked about
And
this.
it's
Like, you guys don't
Yes.
even know. We
yes,
have literally, it's been such a long, long time coming. So to be able
I've always wanted
to
to do
share
Star Wars
this,
YouTube. Always. I mean,
Dude,
you can
it's
ask Tim. What
I'll tell you about it, man. Because I've been doing it. I did it a year ago, and at the maybe end of January, end of Feb, whatever. It was a really. I think it was near the middle of the back then. But I am.
we're back, and then you cut out. So great to have both with her, and talking about a project about it. It's I never thought that
I accidentally
like
exited, but
as far as Twitter goes, I didn't think I would actually meet some great. When I
It's
finally started
awful.
you and Bounty Hunter Network, and that also goes for Harkin and I'm not getting wonderful people. Which had you on here. I feel like this is one way.
yeah, it is. I mean, also you're just like, I think everyone started and I was like, well, I was like, of course. I mean, but
Truth.
because I saw what Tano was like, she was like my second or third. I would know that, but you guys were one of my first people. I mean, followers on Twitter. This man. I have the opportunities. Rule out Psycho and your sister. I've talked to you the most,
Yeah.
and
Sorry.
everyone
Go
else.
ahead.
They were kind of shocked by things I were saying. They were like, "Wait, you want me for this?" I'm like, a little crazy. But I are you sure you like me? Like even just in normal stuff, not like I'm talking about this. Of course I do. I'm not trying. I always just try to help if I can, um,
yeah,
but yeah, guys, I'm actually. If any of you want to come on tonight, if you can, I am doing a stream later, maybe just a little late night one, and it will run about an hour. It won't go like this long,
Oh,
but
I probably
I
won't
was.
be at
It's okay.
this much. I really appreciate all of you. I appreciate everybody that's watched this. A very good day for me. I mean, I'm hoping that next Thursday it won't rain and our connection won't be so bad because
yeah.
apparently the stream is buffering a little
Yeah,
bit and it
yeah.
ain't sounding so great. The first stream,
I just would like to say a couple things. First off,
Okay.
thanks to everybody who's commented in the chat tonight. You guys have showed us love. We really
Yep.
appreciate it. You've done a great job just carrying this, with just carrying like the whole layout, the whole format of tonight's episode. And
Yes.
I'll get there once I get used to this format that we're doing every week. I'm gonna
Yeah.
work with it, but you did a really great job with it, and I bringing me on to be a part of this because we have talked about this a whole lot. So to be able to be a
I'll tell you, man. Once you're like you want. Sometimes you'll be like, I want to do a stream right now. I don't want to wait till next week. That's how I feel. The stream has to be next week, but
I'm just as excited. I would go on all night. I think it would run this long. I'm very happy that it did,
that's the way that this
because this has
community
been
is, man. That's the way it always is. Just get
and it gives
lost
a
in it.
lot.
That's
it's been a great time. I know that we all have lives, so I'm going to go ahead and get ready to end this stream. It has been great. I want for everybody out there, let's
may the force be with you all.
Yes, man. Yeah,
yeah.
Thank you.
everyone, for the support on Force Collective stream. Thanks for support on mine and Tano's and everybody. Some of the people that were in your chats. And I two of our channels, so wait, look out for that. That'll be fun to do. But
Yeah.
until then, guys, and I do have a stream tonight. Probably going to go live right after we end this. Over on the Bounty Hunter Network channel, on my channel, just come over to say my tagline because But until we won, I'll see you later. I'll see you guys
See you later,
I'll
buddy.
see you later once we end this.
Yeah. It's been great for this particular group of us right here. Maybe call us the council or something like that because we do a lot of
Wait,
discussion. So,
Sounds good.
yeah, Star Wars topics with the council. I don't know. I'll think of something, guys. Let's may the force have a good night.
yeah, yep.
See
See
ya.
you.